Hello students, today we are going to study a beautiful poem from Treasure Trove, a collection of poems and short stories, which is poem number 6. The title of the poem is Daffodils, composed by the greatest poet which is well known for his natural theme-based poetries, William Wordsworth. In the year of 1802, this poem was composed. So let's see something about the poem and the poet. The title of the poem informs about the loneliness of the poet, which he faces after the death of his brother. However, the endless view of the golden daffodils in a field across the lake filled him with joy. The poem is not the result of poet's imagination. It's a result of his actual visualization. And in this poetry, the sight of the vast expanse of yellow flowers means daffodils, which is the title of the poem. तो जब poet यहाँ पर yellow flowers को देखते हैं, inspired Wordsworth to write this remarkable poetry, तो वो इंस्पायर हो जाते हैं इस remarkable poetry को लिखने के लिए. That's why here the poet is sharing his experience and he is telling us the beauty of this flower means daffodils beauty. So let's start the explanation of this poetry. First of all, we will understand the stanza number 1. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. When all at glance I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. In this stanza, the poet has compared himself to a solitary cloud. Solitary cloud means akela, badal. Just like clouds, poet too has been walking across the countryside without any aim. He is comparing himself with the clouds and he is saying that same like the clouds, he also has been walking across the countryside. Poet says those golden daffodils were spread out in long rows along the border of the lake. Here the poet says, यहाँ पर poet कहना चाहते हैं कि मैं भी बादलों की तरह अकेला जब होता हूँ तो इसी तरह से घूमता रहता हूँ लेक्स के पास, फ्लावर्स के पास. Let's see the second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Milky Way होती है आकाश गंगा जो गैलेक्सी में होती है. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So, in this second stanza, poet compares flowers to the stars. Poet stars को compare कर रहे हैं daffodil से. He is saying, just like stars, the daffodils were shining as they were golden in color. Stars की तरह से ही daffodils भी garden में, valley में shine कर रहे हैं golden color में. ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे कि ये twinkle कर रहे हैं. And were twinkling as they were fluttering in the breeze. ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे daffodils अपने head को ऊपर उठा रहे हैं, tossing their heads and sprightly dancing. Now see the third stanza. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in the glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the slow to me had brought. In this stanza, poet says the joyful dance of daffodils was a very better than waves. He is saying daffodils का डांस waves से बहुत ज़्यादा better है. In this stanza, he says the joyful company of daffodils was the ultimate source of pleasure for me. He is saying डैफोडिल्स की कंपनी मेरे लिए बहुत प्लेजरेबल है. आई इवन नॉट एंजॉय द कंपनी ऑफ द वेव्स, बट आई एंजॉय द कंपनी ऑफ डैफोडिल्स. ही इज सेइंग, मैं कॉन्स्टेंटली देखता रहता हूँ और सोचता रहता हूँ. लिटिल थॉट what wealth the show to me had brought, that what wealth the show to me had brought. wealth मेरे लिए क्या लेकर आई है, but ये जो कंपनी है डैफोडिल्स की, it gives me pleasure. Now students, we will understand the summary of the last stanza, that is fourth stanza. Let's see. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. So, in the final stanza, the poet says that whenever he lies on his couch, जब भी वो spare time में लेटते हैं, and he is sorrowful और दुखी होते हैं, the sight of the daffodils flashes in his mind and becomes the source of joy in his solitude time. और daffodils की वो beautiful memory उनके time को, अकेलेपन को दूर कर देती है और joy fill करती है. The memory of daffodils takes away all sorrow and boredom of the poet. Poet says in the last stanza that all the memories of that beautiful daffodil flowers just takes away the sorrows and the boredom of my life, and my heart always filled with the pleasure whenever I used to think about the daffodils. I hope all of you have understood the summary of this poem. So take care. Thank you so much.